Hi folks, this is all the fruit, and in Southeast Asia, and especially in Borneo, there are of course many types of bees and wasps. And the bees they get their honey from are very different from the ones we know in Europe. And my friend here, Mr. Ringus, he is the bee hunter of Pichin village in Sarawak in Malaysia and Borneo. The village is inhabited by the Bidayu people, also known as Land Dayak. And here he showed me on one ancient tarap tree the dwarf stingless honeybees. They have a hive inside this tree, and right now they are just ants around it, and they have this typical funnel shaped entrance which is made to prevent the hive to be flooded with water. In this case this funnel is almost 30 centimeters, almost a foot long, going towards the center of the tree. He said probably nobody has already collected this beehive because it's just too deep inside. He's the bee hunter of the village, so he's being called when the giant stingbees need to be harvested. Giant stingbees are incredibly dangerous, or when hornets need to be disposed of. He just showed me some giant stingbees in this giant tree over here, right in front of us. It's interesting they're in this tree and not in the typical giant stingbee tree which grows right next to it. It is even bigger, the one with a particularly smooth bark here, which is so smooth the bees like to choose it because the bears cannot climb. But they live, the giant stingbees, they live in this tree. The honeycomb is almost impossible to see. It's on the highest thick branch, but do you see those big creepers? He said he always refused to collect the honey from this honeycomb because it's extremely high, and also the only way to climb the tree would be via these creepers. He can do it. He is much older than me, but much stronger than me. He can do it totally, but he said those vines, they touch the honeycomb. So if he starts climbing, the giant stingbees will come out and sting him on all the way. They will know he's coming when he's still 30 meters beneath them. So he did not dare to harvest those. So the reason they don't want to harvest those is, as I said, they will sting them because the vine will trigger him. We thought at first the reason nobody would harvest those here is because they are very deep inside the tree. You have to cut away all the buttresses. But then he saw something else. I would totally have trampled around the tree and gotten in big trouble. You see this other hole down here, which looks like it's a small mouse hole, but actually there are hornets in there. He calls hornets a lot of different type of big wasps. I'm sure that some of you will have a different opinion what's a hornet and what not, but hornet is simply a big wasp, and there are big wasps in here which don't produce honey but which sting. That's why he's keeping his distance now. My homestay is a nice modern log house. You'd think there are not too many habitats for animals here, but the smallest of the small stingless stingbees has made the homestay its home. See, there is a nest down here. Look at the size of those. And the normal dwarf stingbees would be more or less the size of those ants, but here is an even tinier species. Of course, whenever we go in and out, we always, well, I try not to, but some people probably always kick the little funnel so that it's always broken, but still, it's just the entrance. The hive is inside the structure, so they don't mind too much. Then here at the window there is another hive. So literature says that there are about 550 species of stingless bees. They lost their stinger. They used to have it in the evolutionary past. About 20 of them produce honey, but most of them are to be found in Africa and America. Ringo says that around 3 species of stingless little honeybees he can see around here. He's usually not hunting them because he's the giant stingbee hunter. Actually, this juggle over there, you can still see the giant stingbee tree sticking out of the juggle. He said he doesn't let me go in there alone because it could be too dangerous. So right now I'm gonna go towards the water reservoir to search for the giant stingbee supercolony. But those are the tiny stingbees. So he says 3 types of tiny stingbees. One we saw in the jungle. This is the other one, a very small one. Here is one hive. Here is another hive on the next window. He says there should be one more down there in the steel pipe. And another very neat one. Very easy to observe, especially because those things have no stingers, is here inside this lamp. Cute, teeny tiny stingbees. Finally, I reached the water reservoir, which is home to a giant stingbee supercolony. Can you see the giant honeycombs? Of course, this reservoir which supplies at least 2 villages. And it smells of honey or flowers here, and I'm still, what, 70, 80, 90 meters away, almost 100 meters away. It smells a lot like honey and flowers. Well, I guess those trees here in the back are flowering. Well, this thing is like, this is a giant structure. You can see the size of the windows here. And underneath the structure, where they are kind of protected from the rain, are the giant honeycombs. One here in the front, a small one here on the side, a couple hidden ones. Now you can see them here, some of them hanging down over a meter. Then here along the blue pipes a couple other ones, and here another one. Some genetic studies show that those are actually not super colonies, but that the bees from different migrating bee colonies, yeah, they migrate with the sound of a helicopter, and people are really scared when they encounter them, when they are not in the flowering season and not sedentary. And then a couple of them gather at such perfect places like this water reservoir. And yeah, so they are not a super colony because they are not necessarily closely related. They are just a lot of colonies gathering for strength in numbers. Because imagine if a bear tries to attack a tree where there is one honeycomb, yeah, he will get stung, but probably he will find it worth the trouble. But if he gets attacked by 20, 25 different colonies, he might reconsider or fall from 20, 30 meters. So Ringus told me they always ask him to harvest the honey from this water reservoir, but he is always reluctant because this is a very tall structure. I don't know how tall, but it should be at least 30, 35 meters tall. Those honeycombs are the size of a huge bathroom towel each. I don't know if they are new and filled with honey, or if they are old remnants from last season. I'm not close enough to see the bees. The whole area is fenced in. I mean, it's critical infrastructure. Imagine all those young kids on motorbikes. You don't want them climbing around your critical water supply and getting hurt and stuff. So although those are giant stingbees, I think they are considered the second biggest bee species in the world after the giant Himalaya bee. I still cannot see them. They are the size of European hornets, but I cannot see if they are if there are any flying around the honeycombs. I'll have to ask Ringus when I come back to the village. I'll have to ask him if I can persuade him to go and harvest some of them. He's the only one in the whole village who can do it. Here we had Ringus's durian garden or durian forest. In the middle of the durian harvest, piles of tasty durians everywhere, but there is a problem. A giant nest of hornets, probably over 70 centimeters, is growing on that tree. And he says it will continue to grow. He says they are black. I cannot recognize the color. He says this could be the same type of hornet that attacked me in Miri. And he also says that they have to go because they will grow, and so will the problems caused by them. And since he is the village's bee hunter, he is the right person to take care of them. So he says when the durian season is over, he will destroy them. Well, you might say, okay, the hornets are part of Borneo's nature, but the Bidayu people have been part of this ecosystem also for thousands of years. And also, this might look like a pristine jungle to you, but it is actually a durian garden. It's being kept as tiny as is necessary for the durian harvest, and a lot of vegetation is being kept everywhere. Firstly, because it's less work when you leave it, and secondly, because during floods you get a lot less erosion. So why doesn't he want to do it now when he is every day in the durian garden? Yes, you have to collect the durian every day. Even on Christmas, no other work was done, but the whole village was collecting durians. Well, he said, when he burns the nest, those hornets, for 1 to 3 days, they will cruise around here and search for him to sting him. And they will sting every person who comes here who comes near their nest. And since we have to be here every day to collect the maximum amount of durian, we will not kill the hornets until the durian season is completely over, because then he can stay away for a week and he will have no troubles with the hornets. So I already mentioned that Ringus is a giant stingbee hunter. He told me there are 4 giant stingbee hunters in a village of 4,000 people. Oh, here, by the way, a traditional, well, staircase / ladder which is made out of one single tree trunk. So, and he said everybody can be a hunter of the small stingless honeybees, but they have only 4 people out of 4,000 who can be hunters of giant stingbees. And usually he does not bother with the tiny stingless honeybees, because first you need to bring a saw, then you need to kill the whole tree. Then when you bring them home, usually you need to make a roof for the piece of the tree which you cut. But once he could not resist, and this is when he found a well-preserved hive inside the tree which had already fallen apart. So this beehive was inside a tree first, and then the tree rotted away, and here you can see the moss. Then he took this beehive from the remnants of the already dead tree and brought it home. And here the moss died because he keeps it dry, because the the stingless bees, they need to stay dry. When the tree fall apart, their wax protected them from the moisture, but here it's this roof that protects them. And they continue living here. Have you ever taken out the honey from this?
No.
No need.
No need.
You just keep them as pets.
Yeah,
Nice.
to preserve it.
Nice. There are other people who have a lot of those things, and they use them to collect honey. But in his case, he knows how to get the honey from the giant stingbees, so no need to open the tiny stingless honeybees hive. he takes he takes a little bit of the wax from this entrance tube. Here they don't really need it because they are protected from the rain. And this tastes different. Taste and smells different. It's very hard, basically crystalline. This is usually exposed to the rain. Also I just saw how a honeybee got rid of a drone, but of course off cam. Yeah, it's some very crystalline wax from this tube. Very different from the wax I'm used to. Very nice. Isn't it nice? The giant stingbee hunter has tiny little stingless honeybees as pets, and in the homestay he has even the tiniest little stingbees as stingless honeybees as pets.